Actually start with the bases. I'm sure most of you are watching this video have already seen my low profile base location videos in the past, so you're kind of aware of these things, but if you're not, for the sake of the video and for all of our time, there's several tips that I'll put up on screen that you kind of need to bear in mind as you're making these builds. Number one is it depends on the situation. Obviously some of you are playing for unofficial servers, some of you have got no build restrictions, some of you are on official. Whatever the case may be, apply it to yourselves. Don't just criticize if it's not you know, beneficial to you, because it might be beneficial to someone else. As for the actual bases themselves, build them as small as you can, as compact as you can. You're really only building them for more of a temporary thing, because the chances are you're solo, you're trying to store your loot, or just prefab. So don't go building a massive base in any of these locations, because that's just not really what they're for. As much as I try and cater to as many different types of situations as I can, still build small, build concise, stay low key. As per usual, paint your base. Obviously a lot of cases you don't really have the time or can be bothered to do that. If you really want to go the extra mile, paint your base, be compact, and don't destroy any foliage, any rocks, any trees, anything around you. Natural cover is what you need. Okay, so this first location is just behind these rocks in the snow on Valguero. If we go down to ground level, you can't really see the base, it just looks like a rock, but I have put turrets on it which does give it away, so bear that in mind. Maybe build it a bit smaller. If we move closer to it, it's just behind these rocks, which is again why I say don't destroy the rocks. Admittedly, this area is quite open. You might think, why have I chosen this? And that's because the snow in Valguero should be your best friend if you want to build low profile base locations. For example, unless there's a huge base on any of these sort of, I wouldn't really call them plateaus, but if there isn't any large bases, nobody will be coming this way. There is no reason to come along this path. It's like a lot of the snow area is just redundant, and then if you think someone's coming up here, well, why on earth would you come up here? There's nothing significant down here. What, change some walls maybe? Chances are no one's going to be coming down here, I can assure you that. And that will take us on to our next spot. If you haven't noted down the GPS coordinates, they are constantly on screen, because that's what people tend to complain about in my videos. We'll go to the next location. Okay, so our second location is just around the corner, similar sort of area. However, this one I've used several times on unofficial servers and official servers. I can guarantee you it will save your bacon. As you can probably see, the base loading in here, if I just back up ever so slightly, it's out of render. And this is a similar scenario to the last location in that nobody is going to be coming along here for any kind of reason. There's a drop there, okay, maybe they might see the base, but the base is out of render. And then if you're worried about your base being out, in render, then there's just a lovely, if you can see just above the base, I've built a structure there. Now, I didn't build this particularly great because, I don't know if you can see on my screen, I do apologise, I am on Xbox. Let's see if I can lower my gamma, it might help. There's actually a lowered section of ice in which you could build one high base. Yeah, here you can see one high base. If you look, I'm totally sheltered. Admittedly, people may be flying along the edge, but I just doubt it. This area isn't really popular for those edge of the map bases. The jungle is the area where people do that type of thing. So yeah, you can always whack one in there, and nobody, especially on like an unofficial server, nobody will be coming along. Especially with the new Parasaur updates, it's a lot harder to track bases. But yeah, you've got a lot of space up here, and like I said, I guarantee, I've done it plenty of times, this is a great spot. Okay, so for the third location, we are right near Green Up, just lovely and convenient, and you've got the swamp around you, plenty of drops and metal spawns and whatnot. If we just dive into the trees, as per usual with this series, the jungle is your friend. But take that with a pinch of salt, of course. The jungle is your friend because it creates shade. Now, A lot of people may mistake that for the jungle on the other side of Valguero, well, just behind the swamp. Don't build on the edge of the map. The trick is with these kind of bases is to not build where you'd expect, where people would expect you to build. I know that sounds kind of obvious, but people always build on the edge of the map. If they want to hide their loot or whatever, they will always build up high one by one. Sometimes hiding in plain sight is a bit better, really. Yeah, with this one again, I built quite big, too high. You probably don't need it, you really don't. And in most of these scenarios, you're building a one by one. But yeah, this one, as you can see, nice and covered. When I fly above it, yeah, there's just no chance people are going to see that. Okay, so for our fourth location, we are not far from our last location, just sort of on the border between snow and the jungle. You might be able to see the base, I don't know. I'm hoping you don't, because that means I've made a good decision here. But if we go closer, you can see just on this ledge is a base, and it's kind of the thing I was talking about last location, hiding in plain sight. Use the shade of the trees and you're fine, and stick to cliff sides. This isn't really a popular location, but there's no real reason for anyone to be walking by or flying by. Nobody flies around here this low, and nobody walks because it's on a ledge. So again, another location which is actually quite spacious. I could have built quite a lot more. And if you're on an unofficial server, you've probably got no build restrictions, so just build right into the cliff, do whatever you want. You know, you can really experiment with that position. Our fifth and final location is back to the snow, and once again, I did think that perhaps some of you might not like the fact that I was choosing to place most of these locations in the snow, because if you're beginners it's not exactly ideal, but I figured for most of you looking for a low profile base location, you've probably got a flyer, you've probably got gear, the chances are you're just hiding loot, you're on a fresh server or whatever, you're transferring over. So locations like these are far more useful to you. As you can see, same as before, I don't want to bore you with the reasons why this one is good. It's in the shade, it's out the way, and it's another location where nobody's really going to be hugging the wall like that. Nobody can really, depending on why, yeah, I just don't see why anyone would see it. If you look from, this is the angle which I can see it. It's out of render, still in render. It's out of render here, which is quite far. But yeah, I just don't really see anyone paying attention. Again, like I said, a lot of you solo players, I'd probably advise you to just build a 1x1, maybe a 1x2, and maybe not even put turrets, just keep it stone. Stone's a lot more camouflage. I know that might be very risky, but I would imagine that most of you, if you have really good loot, you've probably got it in the ob, you're not going to put it in a stone box. But yeah, I think that I aimed for this episode to be quicker and less boring than usual, as my older episodes used to be a good 20-30 minutes long. But just a heads up for anyone interested, I am looking to play Ark again. I've tried to make plenty of series over the last few months, but pretty much every idea I have, whether that's small tribes or official, I just end up getting wiped. Because the game's just too hard to play at the minute. People just prey on fresh players, and I don't have enough. None of the people I used to play Ark with really want to play, or anyone really wants me in their tribe, because I think I just attract too much attention with the videos and everything. So if you've got any ideas of stuff you want me to upload, or a tribe you want me to join, or want to join my tribe, then chuck them in the comments, message me on Xbox, whatever. You know, I'm down to make videos because I am bored, to say the least. But yeah, if you haven't seen any of my other low profile base locations, make sure to check them. Subscribe if you haven't. There will be more, especially for Genesis, Ragnarok, and the island probably again, and maybe even Scorched Earth. So stick around. Thanks a lot for watching.